From Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, Kentucky, an in-season exhibition matchup between a couple of Bluegrass State foes. The host Western Kentucky Hilltoppers off to a 7-3 start, but adversity struck in their overtime win against Arkansas on December the 7th, and they will welcome in Adam Getz and his Kentucky Wesleyan Panthers to Diddle Arena tonight with no Charles Bassey, the preseason first-team All-American who injured his knee and is out for the rest of the season after going down late on in that game against Arkansas. Alongside Jay Walton, Nate Gatter with you from Diddle Arena. And Jay, obviously there will be challenges with any opponent, and Western Kentucky was going to take this game seriously regardless. But the Hilltoppers need to prioritize tonight even more, considering they're having to almost start the season over.
Well, it's unusual to have an exhibition right here in the middle of the season, but it couldn't have come at a better time for Western Kentucky, considering the loss of Charles Bassey. They've got some roles to redefine. They've got some things to figure out. So this is truly going to be like a preseason game for their coaching staff and their roster.
See Josh Anderson there. He will move into the starting lineup tonight, or at least that was the expectation, that he will start at the 4 position. And obviously, Jay, that makes the Hilltoppers very, very small, with Anderson perhaps the tallest player on the floor, even though he won't play center.
Right, he'll definitely be smaller, but they'll be faster. And just speaking with their coaching staff, they believe that offensively they can get to that same number without Charles Bassey on the floor. They can do some things differently offensively to still put points on the board. Replacing him in the paint defensively is going to be the challenge.
See Drew Cooper there in his 2nd season, leading this proud Kentucky Wesleyan program. 8 national championships, more than any other school in Division II. You saw what Rick Stansbury as well in his 4th season with Western Kentucky, looking for Hilltopper win number 70. So Carson Williams, who moves into the center position with the injury to Bassey, only 6'5", will jump against the 6'11" Russian sophomore Sasha Suhanov for Kentucky Wesleyan. And Williams taps it back to Hollingsworth, so the Hilltoppers have the opening possession of the evening. Hollingsworth, lob for Savage.
Well executed set play out of the gate for West Kentucky. No help on the back screen, and easy 2 for Savage.
Not even 15 seconds in, and Jared Savage, one of the big heroes in that overtime victory for Western Kentucky a week and a half ago against Arkansas in the Hilltoppers' last action. 3 on the way from Joe Griffin, and he didn't connect with anything. Williams saved nicely to Cameron Justice. Savage had that 3 with 26 seconds left to tie the game for the Hilltoppers and force overtime. They were down 5 with 36 ticks left in that game. Williams and Suhanov. Anderson playing in the opening minute for the first time this year. Savage out of the corner. 5 early for Jared Savage.
Inside and out for Jared. Easy 2 on the first possession, and great patience by the Hilltoppers there in the half court. Not forcing the issue, and great ball movement, finally finding Savage open for the easy 3.
There's Eric Bell, one of 11 transfers on this Kentucky Wesleyan roster. Griffin. Mohamed Abu Arisha backs down on Savage with 4 to shoot. He walked with it before laying it up and in. In fact, all 5 members of the Panthers' starting 5s began their careers at a different school.
A lot of roster turnover for their team over the past couple years with a new coaching staff coming in. And I think one of the keys of the game, we just saw them try to establish a presence in the low post without Charles Bassey there to protect the rim. I don't think they would try to go inside early and establish a little bit. We're unable to do so on that possession, though.
Bell, here's Getz, the leading scorer. Senior out of Erlanger, Kentucky. Panthers will shoot the 3 ball. Griffin missed everything on their first attempt from deep tonight. 9 to shoot for Abu Arisha. Has the size advantage against Savage. Bell stepped out of bounds, looking for that corner 3. So a couple of early Kentucky Wesleyan turnovers. And still the Panthers not yet on the board more than 2 minutes into this game.
A little bit smaller lineup for the Hilltoppers, going to allow them to do some switching defensively, as we've seen the first couple possessions. Anderson, Savage, and really Justice, all 3 interchangeable. A lot of switching defenses early on, giving Kentucky Wesleyan a little bit of trouble.
Justice almost left the floor, just kept his left toe down. Williams doubled through contact, finishes over Suhanov. What a finish by Williams. And Jay, the Hilltoppers are going to need a lot of that to make up for the lack of size inside.
They will. Like we mentioned, they're going to be undersized, but they, their coaching staff believes that's Carson Williams' true position is a 5, albeit undersized, but he can score down there. As you can see right there, able to go up through the double team and maybe think he should kick it out, but he's strong enough and balanced enough to go up through the contact and score.
Watch out for Anderson, and he finishes a 9-0 Western Kentucky run in the opening 3 minutes, victimizing Kentucky Wesleyan turnovers. Timeout, Drew Cooper. And Jay, you mentioned right before tip that, well, it makes them smaller to not have Charles Bassey. It also makes the Hilltoppers faster, and they're using that defensively right away, pressuring not only 20 feet, but 22, 24 feet out from the rim.
That's what they're going to want to do. They're going to want to force the tempo, make easy baskets in transition off their defense, which you see Josh Anderson, nobody better on their roster than him at getting out and finishing in the break, and that's what they've been able to do so far.
Mentioned that there is some big news for Western Kentucky on the injury front. MedCenter Health is the official healthcare partner of WKU Athletics, bringing you the injury update. Of course, it is Charles Bassey, first-team All-American and a preseason Conference USA Player of the Year who is finished for the season. He had an injury with under 4 minutes to go in that Arkansas game, which Western Kentucky eventually won in overtime, a tibial plateau fracture in his left leg. He had surgery on December the 10th, just 3 days later in Houston, out of the care of team physicians for the Houston Texans and Rockets. In fact, the same surgeons who performed the operation on Texans star J.J. Watt in 2017 when he had a similar injury. So Rick Stansbury was praising the doctors and the training staff in Bowling Green who did everything they could to get Charles on a plane only about 36 hours after the injury happened so that he could get the best care as quickly as possible.
By all accounts, everything went very well. He's got a lengthy rehab, but no reason he can't come back 100%. And just a tough blow for this team and for the young man. But they'll have to regroup. There's nobody else in Conference USA going to feel sorry for him, and they're going to have to figure out a way to win ball games without their biggest defensive presence and leading scorer, rebounder on the floor.
Getz try to go back door. That's a 4th Kentucky Wesleyan turnover. The Panthers only have 2 field goal attempts. Anderson, Hollingsworth's first attempt. Savage offensive rebound. He's had a big start. Justice from deep. Way off the mark. A rare bad miss for the graduate transfer out of IUPUI. Suhanov straight away. Williams clears the glass. That's now nearly 4.5 minutes without a bucket for the Panthers.
Just the kind of start you want for Western Kentucky. It's tough going offensively for Kentucky Wesleyan so far.
Hollingsworth had a big game against Arkansas. Anderson, and he's fouled by Eric Bell, another transfer senior from Evansville, Indiana. So that takes us into our opening media timeout of the evening. Been an excellent start for the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers at home. Pitching a shutout up 9-0, just over 4.5 minutes in. Western Kentucky up 9-0, just over 4.5 minutes into the ball game tonight. Nate Gatter, Jay Walton back with you from Diddle Arena in Bowling Green. The Hilltoppers with Heart program helps give WKU student athletes, coaches, and staff the opportunity to make an impact in the Bowling Green and Warren County communities. Passport Health Plan is a proud sponsor of WKU's Hilltoppers with Heart. More information is available at 1-800-578-0603. Good crowd for an in-season exhibition Tuesday night affair. This was originally scheduled to give Western Kentucky an opportunity to break up what otherwise would have been a 2-week drought without a game between two of the Hilltoppers' biggest non-conference tests. Justice contested, hits out of the corner, and it's a dozen to open the game for Western Kentucky. But the Hilltoppers went to that home game on the 7th of December against Arkansas, which they won in overtime. And then they'll play on the 21st at Rhode Island. Never an easy place to play. Bell short, Savage clears the miss. Justice thought about another quickly. Throws it up for Matt Horton. His first touch ends in a bucket, and it's 14-0. Pair of early touchdowns for the Hilltoppers in 5 minutes.
It's a big game for Matt Horton to prove to his coaching staff that he can come off the bench and provide some spark on both ends of the floor. You know, he's going to be the closest thing to a Charles Bassey in the way of rim protection and shot blocking ability on the defensive end of the floor. And it'll be interesting to see how much confidence they show in him tonight.
Zach Hopewell finally gets Kentucky Wesleyan on the board. Junior transfer from there at Owensboro. Horton has a big size advantage against Stu Curry. So the rebound cleared by Wyatt Battle. His first touch. Sophomore transfer from Pikeville, Kentucky. Hopewell on Justice. Dangerous pass between Battle and Bell. Hopewell wants a three over Justice and hits it. So Zach Hopewell, introduced more than 5 minutes into the game, has 5 quick points.
He's got a quick trigger, and he's ready to shoot as soon as he caught the ball.
Here's Jordan Rawls, freshman point guard who's had an excellent start to his college career. Got away with perhaps a little slide of the foot. Savage, tightly contested by Battle, and that one never had a chance. Horton after it on the offensive glass. Battle just wanted it a little bit more than Savage. She's spinning away from him and calls timeout. So some substitutes introduced for Kentucky Wesleyan and making an immediate impact. 5 points for Zach Hopewell, and Wyan Battle gets on the floor to preserve a possession for the Panthers, who've cut it right back to single digits. And maybe Jay just getting over a little bit of issues with being starstruck in those first 5 minutes. You come into a bigger arena, play against a big team in your own state, and want to prove a little bit too much maybe, and dealing with that defensive pressure. But it seems like they've stepped up in the minute and a half since that TV timeout and said, you know what, we're going to go toe-to-toe with these guys.
Yeah, they're settling in a little bit. Don't forget, they played a home game last night, a conference game. So they're right in the middle of their conference season. They got 2 more league games after tonight before the Christmas break. So this is certainly an important game for the Panthers, but not near as important as their league play, which they're already in the middle of. So a great chance to come and play in a big environment. A lot of these guys would love to be here at Western Kentucky, I'm sure, and want to prove that they can play as well.
Only 3-6 Kentucky Wesleyan so far this year, but 2-1 in GMAC play, even after an 11-point loss to Cedarville last night. This is a rather rare back-to-back in college basketball at all, an exceedingly rare back-to-back that happens on 2 different courts, and the second of 3 games in 4 days for the Panthers. Battle against Savage, had it knocked away. No, he just lost it. That's a 5th Wesleyan turnover already. The Panthers generally don't do much of that. They have almost an assist and a half for every turnover as a team. Western Kentucky turns it over for the second time. Hilltoppers have struggled a little bit more in that department this year, but there is a 6th Wesleyan turnover in the opening 7 minutes. That one from Adam Getz, his second.
The Hilltoppers' quickness on the perimeter really giving them some trouble right now. And, you know, this pace, really have a hard time staying in this game. They got more turnovers than points to this point, and just gotta find a way to take care of the ball to give your team a chance and get a good quality shot each possession.
Cameron Cartwright in for the first time for Kentucky Wesleyan. Rawls for 3. It's been excellent from deep so far this year. Misses that one. Shooting nearly 50% from beyond the arc coming in tonight to start his college career. Another freshman guard, Jeremiah Gambrell, a redshirt freshman from Houston, is in for the Hilltoppers. He, like Matt Horton, figures to have the opportunity at more minutes. Savage the rebound off the Hopewell miss. And here is Gambrell.
3 guys that haven't played a lot so far for West Kentucky. Jordan Rawls, Matt Horton, and Jeremiah Gambrell figured that their minutes will increase, and they will have to prove what they can bring to this lineup without Charles Bassey on the floor, playing a little bit smaller, playing a little bit faster. Those 2 guards can really score, and they'll have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, one of the other things that you might not think right away about Bassey going out and Anderson coming into the starting lineup is that it also increases the need for those bench guards to play. It essentially puts Western Kentucky in position to play 4 guards. Gambrell is the man most likely to go from limited, if any, playing time, having not appeared in even every game, to playing a whole lot more for the Hilltoppers from here on out. Western Kentucky up a dozen, just over 8 minutes gone by. Back after this to Diddle Arena. Fans of all shapes and sizes out to enjoy this in-season exhibition tonight. Hometown Western Kentucky Hilltoppers leading by 12, just over 8 minutes gone by. Nate Gatter and Jay Walton back with you from Diddle Arena. It was a big crowd on the 7th of December, 10 days ago, when the Hilltoppers welcomed in Arkansas. More than 6,800 saw it here in Bowling Green, a 7-point overtime win for Western Kentucky, and that's been one of the hallmarks of the Rick Stansbury era, Jay, is the interest in this program and the subsequent attendance skyrocketing at Diddle Arena.
Huge win for them against a previously undefeated Arkansas team, and that's also been another hallmark of Rick Stansbury teams. They come to play against the Power 5 teams and have some great upsets against those teams in his tenure so far.
Adam gets his foul, and we'll get our first free throws of the evening. Chance for him to cut it back down to 10 for Wesleyan. Gets a 70% foul shooter on the year, the leading scorer for the Panthers at 16 a game. Second year in Owensboro after he spent his first two at Division III Mount St. Joseph. Transferred up to the Division II level when Drew Cooper took over. One of 11 transfers on the current roster and one of 14 new players the Panthers added last season in Cooper's first at the helm. Rawls, Gambrell for three. Good start from deep for Western Kentucky early. A big theme of the early season for the Hilltoppers has been a much improved three-point shooting team from a year ago.
Well, that's what Gambrell brings to the table. He's got the green light. He can really shoot it. Quick trigger, and we'll look for those opportunities in the half-court offense.
Cartwright got a step on Rawls. Ben Sisson off the mark. Rebound eventually corralled by Williams. Hollingsworth was massive in that win over Arkansas. A smooth baseline drive and a reverse finish makes it a 15-point Western Kentucky lead. Hollingsworth led the Toppers with 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists.
Really brought that one home for the Hilltoppers. Been quiet so far tonight, but a nifty move on the baseline.
Battle hits at 3. He's only shooting 26% early on in his first season at Kentucky Wesleyan. Transfer from Louisville, where he spent his freshman year as a walk-on, did not play. Williams, rather quiet offensively so far since that very early bucket. Gambrell, tough three.
Like his first three-point attempt a lot better. It was an inside-out off a penetration, catch and shoot instead of a off-the-dribble step back. Much more in rhythm on the first three-point attempt for Gambrell.
Sisson inside. That's an easy steal for Tavion Hollingsworth. No look, Gambrell. He got it. What an assist from Tavion Hollingsworth.
There's a little bit more of the offense off the defense that we talked about. You get the turnover on one end, guards filling lanes at a really fast pace, and Hollingsworth leading the break.
Sisson, backdoor gets. Maybe took an extra step before putting it down. Wasn't able to take advantage of the space he had off the catch. Gambrell, another three. His light is about as green as it gets. That's 3 triples already attempted by the freshman, and he's only been in 4 minutes. Gets in transition, able to hit his.
Getz has been their best player. He leads them in scoring, assists, steals, just about every category. It's taken him a while to get going tonight, but here these last couple of possessions, he's begun to assert himself. He can do a lot of things offensively.
Good split by Hollingsworth, and he was fouled. That is only the second team foul against Kentucky Wesleyan. It's a slow start, a little bit of a cool start to the season from three-point range for Getz. He's shooting just over 35%. Shot better than 42% last season and 50% as a sophomore at Mount St. Joseph.
Tell this team really likes to shoot the three by the number of attempts that they have from several different guys, and some of their percentages aren't quite what they need them to be yet, but they'll continue to take good shots, and that'll be a big part of their offense in their league play.
Justice was bumped and held. Not sure our officials will have an easier call than that one all year. You can see his jersey come out away from him. Foul goes on Suhanov. So after only 1 foul for Wesleyan through the opening 11 minutes, Panthers pick up a pair and make it 3 in 15 seconds on this possession. It's another Rick Stansbury hallmark, is his team drawing an awful lot of fouls.
They always like to make more free throws than their opponents attempt. Love to be aggressive, and so far this season they have been able to do that.
Foul on the floor. The basket does not count. That is 4 fouls on this possession from Kentucky Wesleyan in not even 20 seconds. Battle's fortunate that no continuation was given to Anderson. Justice drives but misses, and Griffin clears the glass.
There may have been contact there. I just think the officials didn't want to call a 5th foul on the same possession.
Timeout, Western Kentucky. Back-to-back threes from Adam Getz. And he's cut the lead. No timeout. The officials stopped it. Rick Stansbury has not called timeout, but back-to-back threes nonetheless from Getz. That's 8 points for him, and it's down to an 8-point Panthers deficit. Williams was open. Rawls' pass was tipped, and the Panthers can cut it down to 2 possessions. Battle in transition. Maybe an ill-advised shot, but this Wesleyan team not shy. Justice cut off well by Griffin. Williams can hit a 3 now and again, and he splashes one over Sulanov.
Definitely shown that range throughout the season. Really uncontested there.
He hasn't taken many, but he's 5 out of 11 now for the year.
Percentages are good. He can definitely hit that shot. He'll be able to do that when given the opportunity.
Getz over Justice. That's 10 for Getz. He's the first for either team at a double figures tonight. Do you think Rick Stansbury and this coaching staff would like to see Carson Williams' attempts from anywhere on the floor go up? Do you think he needs to assert himself more offensively?
Going to have to, yeah. And they'd love to see him get to the foul line more, be aggressive, catching in the low post. So far tonight, he's been bottled up by some double teams and hasn't really been able to get off like he would like. But, yeah, certainly they would like to see him become more involved as a low post scorer.
Another Kentucky Wesleyan foul. That's in under 2 minutes, 5 fouls called against the Panthers. And from here on out, not counting that one, Western Kentucky will be shooting free throws until halftime. It's a 9-point Hilltoppers lead, but Kentucky Wesleyan bursting back a little bit after a slow start. 27-18 is the Western Kentucky lead. Nate Gatter, Jay Walton back with you from Diddle Arena for the final 7:21 of the first half. And Jay, even though it's still a rather comfortable Hilltoppers lead, and the fans and the mascots can all enjoy it for the moment, you have to be impressed with what you've seen from Kentucky Wesleyan going down 12-0 to start the game and battling back. Since then, that opening 12-0 run, the Panthers have outscored the Hilltoppers by 3. Yeah,
they didn't get rattled, and their best player, Adam Getz, took him a while to get going, but here lately he's caught fire and keeping his team in it.
And he has 10 of Kentucky Wesleyan's 18 points, and 8 of them came in that last stretch. So the coaching staff for Kentucky Wesleyan will like what they've seen in response to their team. Second night of a back-to-back. Williams dribbled evidently off his own foot. He thought there was a kick by a Panther.
A little too much traffic down there for the spin move from that possession. Carson Williams.
Certainly the Hilltoppers need much more rested of the 2. Beautiful backdoor feed to Joe Griffin. And it's a 7-point game. Hilltoppers haven't played for 10 days. Although they didn't show much of that rust, they're 5 of 11 from 3-point range early.
Certainly shot the ball. They don't look like they've been off for 10 days, but they shot it for sure.
Oh! Justice through contact reverses.
Great finish. The left-hand finish on the weak side. Uses the rim to protect against the shot blocker. Great body control.
Zach Hopewell had the first 5 points for Wesleyan. He hasn't scored since. Good pass to Curry. Back-to-back nice assists. One from Getz, one from Hopewell.
Well, he's done some really nice things. He's been able to catch and shoot from the perimeter and make a couple jump shots, and there showing the passing ability in the paint off the ball screen.
Williams. Justice. And it's knocked out of bounds. Western Kentucky keeps it with 11 to shoot.
I'd like to see Carson Williams on that possession. He caught it. The double team came right away. He's going to have to give that ball up, but I'd like to see him repost, catch the ball deeper than he does on the first catch, and then go attack.
Savage Looked an awful lot like that three that he hit right off the baseline inbounds to tie the game and send it to overtime against Arkansas. Not there for him this time, but he follows it up with 2. So after his 5 early points, he's back on the board. Give him 7 for the night. Wesleyan has been efficient. 3 field goals in a row have gone down for the Panthers in 5 of their last 6. Hopewell thought about it. Wants it. Rebound Hollingsworth. He always wants to run. Inside, tough ball away. And it's rebounded by Griffin. Curry against Williams. Over him. Hollingsworth and Williams both wanted the rebound. It's the Hilltoppers point guard who comes away with it in the end. Justice, one more Savage. Williams offensive rebound. Right back up, and he'll go to the foul line. Another Kentucky Wesleyan foul. If that's on Wyatt Battle, it's already his 3rd, and it is the 3rd foul called on Battle. With still 5 minutes to go in this first half, you get a second look at the extra effort from Williams. It's always there.
It's great effort. Somehow you knew that when he got his hands on it, that was not coming back out. He was going back up, forcing the foul. Love this man's work ethic on the glass. Been a great offensive rebounder throughout the season.
5 rebounds a game for Williams so far this year, better than 11 points a game, shooting 62% from the floor and 75% at the foul line. Both good numbers, especially for a post player. Second year Hilltopper, first year on the court after transferring from Northern Kentucky. Williams checks out in favor of Matt Horton. And a good shooting night so far for both teams. Haven't had a missed free throw yet. Both have been potent from beyond the arc. Suhanoff against Horton. And he traveled before the shot. Wesleyan has struggled with those turnovers. That's 8 in the first half. Still 4:45 and rolling to go until the break. The Panthers only had 8 all of last night's game against Cedarville. Gambrell took an extra step, got away with it, and hits the catch and shoot 3. He's 2 of 4 from deep so far tonight.
He was ready to shoot that ball before he ever even caught it. And the way he got open is he set a great back screen, forced his defender to help. He was the guy that ended up the beneficiary. Great rhythm shot for him.
You know, Jay, I think Gambrell's ready to shoot the ball before he even checks in the game with the way he's been firing them up tonight.
He's ready when he walks in the gym.
He has 8 points in 8 minutes. Trying to make the most of his cameo. Horton for the stop.
Second possession in a row. The screener has gotten the bucket. Good job by Horton on the ball screen up top. Rolls hard to the rim, and help was a little late. Good finish by the big fella.
That's 4 assists for Tavion Hollingsworth, who now counted the Arkansas game, which did include overtime. In his last 3 halves of basketball, has 10 assists and only 3 turnovers. The exact kind of performance the Hilltoppers are looking for from Hollingsworth, thrust into that point guard role this year, and that will remain as such with Kenny Cooper, the transfer from Lipscomb, denied his waiver to play this season. So Western Kentucky's lead cut down to 9 as ballooned back up to 16. Final media. Jeremiah Gambrell has 8 points off the bench for Western Kentucky. He's seen very few minutes early on this season. A redshirt freshman from Houston. He's getting an opportunity, Jay, and you like that catch and shoot 3.
I do. We missed the front end of that play. What got him so open is the screen that he set. To any young players you watching tonight, you want to get open, set a good screen.
Gambrell has 8 points on 3 of 5 shooting, a couple of 3-pointers, and he figures to get the majority of the extra guard minutes available off the bench with Josh Anderson no longer the 6th man, moving into a starting position after the injury against Arkansas suffered by Charles Bassey. And the talisman for Western Kentucky will miss the remainder of the season. Wesleyan quick trigger. Joe Griffin inside on Hollingsworth. Griffin, the former Louisville Cardinal, got a little bump in the back, got his own miss. Muhammad Abu Arisha over Horton. Didn't get it off the backboard. The Israeli still scoreless.
Horton not able to get the block there, but clearly altered that shot by Abu Arisha.
And you wonder if that could be his role. You said the one thing that Western is really going to struggle to reproduce without Bassey is that interior length and shot blocking presence, and perhaps that could be Horton's job against certain teams. He might be needed to control the paint defensively.
Absolutely. Anything they get out of Horton offensively is a bonus. But yeah, that rim protection that he could provide be huge for the Hilltoppers defensively.
Getz had it partially stripped by Savage. Hopewell off the glass. That's 7 for Zach Hopewell in 11 minutes.
Continues to show a variety of skills on the offensive end. Nice. Caught Collinsworth with a nice ball fake and a spin move and able to finish in the paint.
Horton's fouled on the rebound, and he will go to the foul line with Western Kentucky now in the bonus. That was a good look for Cameron Justice, and one that he's going to bury more often than not. Getz picks up the foul, his first, team's 8th of the half. Substitutions for Western Kentucky. Gambrell out, Jordan Rawls in. And Carson Williams is waiting to come in for Horton should he make both of these free throws. It's 1-1 for the senior from Tuscaloosa. Chance for him to try to finish his college career on a high note. He appeared in only 10 games off the bench last year. Missed time in December with a bone bruise in his right leg. This is his 7th game of this season, and certainly you'd expect to see him in every game, health permitting, the remainder of the season. A couple of free throws go down for him. He had been 0 for 2 at the line this season, so those are his first 2 free throw makes, and Williams comes in for him.
There's not a lot of minutes to be had behind a healthy Charles Bassey. He did a great job of staying out of foul trouble when he was healthy.
And not many guys Bassey's size who play his minutes.
Exactly. So just not a lot of backup 5-man minutes to be had, and certainly Horton looking to take advantage of that opportunity now.
Abu Arisha against Savage. Rick Stansbury wanted a double dribble. The officials said the ball was knocked loose from him, and he's eventually fouled by the redshirt senior Savage.
We got the switch off on the ball screen action. Savage came over to take the roll and looked to back the smaller defender down, able to draw the foul. Good patience by the big fella.
Abu Arisha, senior, second-year Panther, transferred from Division I Jacksonville State in the OVC. Made better than 60% of his free throws this year. He spent those 2 years with the Gamecocks, appearing in 20 games for former Hilltoppers and Panthers coach Ray Harper. Before he ended up at Western Kentucky, he was the head coach in Owensboro. Led this proud program to 6 straight Division II national title games between 1998 and 2003, with a couple of national championships won during that stretch. Most recent for the Panthers was in 2001, their 8th. Anderson, good find of Rawls, maybe one pass too many to go to Savage. On the pull-up, and he hits it. Three-pointer might have been easier, but Rawls hits the 14-footer off the bounce.
Yeah, tough shot. And pull up on the baseline. Nice mid-range game from the freshman.
Safe to say he has something of a future here in Bowling Green. Watch out for Anderson. He lost it.
Josh was thinking about a highlight right there. Let it get away from him. He was getting ready to make something special happen on the finish.
Yeah, that dribble might have kept Adam Getz off a poster.
You're right. I believe it did.
Getz checks out. Hopewell open for a 3. It's a rare bad miss from Hopewell in the opening half. Savage on the floor after it for Western Kentucky, and the Hilltoppers will have it on the possession arrow.
See if we get a post-up opportunity here for Carson Williams. Been limited so far by the double teams from the Panthers, but I'd like to get him involved here these last couple possessions offensively if we can.
Been kind of a typical Carson Williams game. 7 points and 5 rebounds, so good numbers. And he's done it on only 2 field goal attempts. He's hit both of those, 1 of 3, and he's made a couple of free throws. Anderson with 4 to shoot. He's going to have to hoist a step back 3. Wesleyan can go 2 for 1 if the Panthers hurry, although that's not especially common at the collegiate level. Abu Arisha against Williams. Savage the rebound, knocked away from him by Tyler Beazold. Outside Nathan Boyle, and he cans a corner triple.
How many times does that happen? When you're unable to secure the rebound on the defensive end, you just almost always know you're about to give up a wide open 3.
Timeout called by Rick Stansbury and the Hilltoppers with 17.1 seconds to go in this opening half, a 42-29 Western Kentucky advantage. We talked a little bit about just how much this program has returned to glory under Rick Stansbury. Obviously come up short the last couple of years in conference championship games, but that attendance increase has been huge for the Hilltoppers, risen 58% during his tenure. And last year, Western Kentucky sold out of general season tickets for the first time since Diddle Arena opened in 1963. A lot of them to see that man, Charles Bassey, the Nigerian, now sophomore. And he won't be there to be seen the rest of the season, but I would think they'll keep coming out, if for no other reason than Western Kentucky's consistency. And that's in large part due to what got Bassey here, Rick Stansbury's calling card, his recruiting. Since he's been here, 2017-2018, Western Kentucky was one of only 9 schools in the country with back-to-back top 20 recruiting classes. The others were Duke, Kentucky, UCLA, Oregon, Kansas, North Carolina, Texas, and Michigan State. Anderson fouled by former Western Kentucky big man Nathan Smith, the 7'2" Englishman. And Anderson will get 2 free throws with 6 seconds and change to go until the half.
That's a great timeout by Rick Stansbury. 17 seconds left in the half. He did not like what he saw in the previous possession offensively, did not get a great shot. Want to make sure you go into the half, execute a set play, get the shot that you want. Patience shown right there on the offensive end. And Anderson doing what he does best, attacking the glass, drawing the foul.
First free throw miss for either team tonight. Nathan Boyle checks back in, and Smith goes out for Wesleyan. Anderson, the junior from Baton Rouge, whose numbers took an unsurprising dip, not being predominantly in the starting lineup this year as he was last season. But that is going to change. 77% foul shooter, misses both. Wesleyan has 4 seconds. Bell with 2. Quickly thrown up by Beazold. It would have counted, but well short. And Justice ends the half for Western Kentucky. So the Hilltoppers take a 13-point lead into the break. Maybe not as clean a first half as Rick Stansbury would have hoped, but his team not doing too badly in the first 20 minutes of life without Charles Bassey. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up from Bowling Green at the half, where the hometown Hilltoppers lead by 13 over the visiting Panthers. Strong first half for Western Kentucky, and the Hilltoppers up 42-29 at the break from Diddle Arena in Bowling Green. Nate Gatter, Jay Walton back with you, where we will have a special halftime interview coming up with Jared Nash, long snapper from the Western Kentucky football team, which is bowl bound just before the new year. Talking about that when we get back. Stay with us. 13-point halftime lead for Western Kentucky over the break over Kentucky Wesleyan. And for your halftime entertainment, we welcome you back courtside. Nate Gatter joined by Western Kentucky football long snapper Jared Nash. And Jared, first of all, congratulations in order. Named second team All-Conference USA. Must be a great honor for you, especially considering that you've had some trials and tribulations during your college football career. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, started out my career at JUCO in California. Coach Brahms' staff brought me here, Coach Levine brought me here in 2016. Thought it was a great opportunity, so came up here. Just loved everything about Western, school, football. It's a great place to be. Unfortunately, they moved on to Purdue. Coach Sanford came in, and just some things didn't work out playing wise, so just he wasn't really gonna give me a shot to play, so I decided to transfer down to Tennessee Chattanooga. Coach R's staff gave me an unbelievable opportunity to come down there. Loved my time there, played 2 years, had 2 great years there, and just decided that I wanted to get my master's in sports admin. I want to work in sports administration at the college level, and UTC just did not have that. And I didn't want to be spending the money on a master's degree that I wasn't really ever going to use. So I decided to come back to Western here, and I wasn't planning on playing. I turned down a lot of offers, actually an offer from every Power 5 conference. Just wasn't my thing to play anymore, I felt like, and just needed to focus on my career after football. And got a chance to intern here for athletic communications and marketing. And the opportunity became available literally a week before our first game. Coach Helton and Coach LaRussa gave me the opportunity to play, and I'm forever thankful for that, to be able to come back out here and wear that red towel and just be able to have that in my resume and have a great time playing with some of my best friends I've ever had. So it's been awesome.
What do you think it says about this program, specifically the coaching staff that came in with Tyson Helton in his first year, to take this from a team that was really struggling a year ago to winning 8 games this year, and then on December 30th, the day before New Year's Eve, you guys are going to be playing in a bowl game against Western Michigan?
I think it's awesome. You know, Coach Helton's such a great coach. He just teaches everyone how to win. Like, he keeps it simple. With our sayings like just win. It's great to have him, as he's an incredible leader, his staff around him. Coach LaRussa has helped us out tremendously. The special teams, I believe we have some of the top special teams in the country, especially our conference. You know, my all-conference thing, like, I was kind of surprised by it. My reward as a long snapper is if my kicker and punter are doing well, and they both had pretty good seasons, especially John winning first team all-conference. So those are my awards, essentially, and just love the opportunity to go out there and play and have a good time with those guys.
Well, Jerry, congratulations on a well-earned opportunity here, and congratulations to the Western Kentucky football team, at 8-4 regular season record, and the First Responders Bowl on December 30th against Western Michigan. That's Jared Nash, Western Kentucky's long snapper, second team All-Conference USA this year. We're back with Jay Walton to wrap up the first half and get you ready for the final 20 minutes of basketball tonight. Back at Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, where we're at the half. Western Kentucky up by 13 over in-state Division II foe Kentucky Wesleyan. Welcome you back courtside. Nate Gatter with Jay Walton. So glad to have you with us today. We thought that this was going to be an important game for Western Kentucky no matter what, even more so adjusting to life without Charles Bassey. And Jay, it seems like the Hilltoppers have made great use of their added speed, which is what they have with no Bassey and Anderson in the starting lineup instead.
Really got a lot of offense off their defense, created a lot of turnovers, which has led to some fast break opportunities. They definitely want to play faster defensively without Bassey on the floor, controlling the paint with his rim protection. So they're going to have to get their defensive pressure on the perimeter turned up to create those opportunities in transition.
Yeah, they've been able to turn the ball over and capitalize off of that. Certainly Kentucky Wesleyan has not done nearly as much, although to the Panthers' credit, they looked far less overwhelmed by the defensive pressure as the first half went on as compared to how they did the first 4 minutes or so.
They did. The things that they've been struggling with, obviously the turnovers, and they fouled a lot too. They've had a lot of trouble playing defense without fouling, and we always know that West Kentucky wants to be very aggressive, take the ball to the basket, and put pressure on your defense, and they've been able to do that as well tonight against the Panthers.
Teams are back on the floor. 13-point Western Kentucky lead at the half, and the Hilltoppers will try to finish off an 8th victory this season when we return. Rick Stansbury's Western Kentucky Hilltoppers at an in-season exhibition that they plan just to use to try to avoid a complete layoff in the 2 weeks between non-conference showdowns with Arkansas at home and then Rhode Island on the road. It's taken on added importance without Charles Bassey available for the Hilltoppers, and this new look starting 5 that will also begin the second half for Western Kentucky with Anderson inserted. Bassey out, as you see him there on the bench, and nobody taller than 6'6" on the floor for the Hilltoppers, but they have responded rather well, and they lead by 13 over Division II foe Kentucky Wesleyan. As we start the second half, Nate Gatter, Jay Walton back with you from Diddle Arena. And Jay, for all the positives that there were for Western Kentucky, what would you like to see the Hilltoppers do better in the final 20 minutes if you were Rick Stansbury to feel really good going to Rhode Island?
Shot selection be one thing I think they could improve on in this half. I'd like to see Carson Williams get a few more touches in the low post to get him involved. Other than that, you want the same kind of start that you had in the first half, where they had like a 12-0 run to start the game. So
not this time.
Not going to happen today, is it?
Adam gets again. He has 13. He's hit 3 out of 4 from deep. And he has almost single-handedly kept Kentucky Wesleyan in this game. Anderson for 3. And it's a bit of a cold stretch now for the Hilltoppers from deep. They started very nicely, but they've now hit just 6 out of 18, 1/3 of their long-range attempts.
That's not what Anderson does, not his deal. He'll take that shot when he's open, but you'd like for your first field goal attempt in the second half to be something other than a Josh Anderson three-point attempt.
Steal by Hollingsworth. He has Justice trailing. Justice, in the end, outfoxed himself.
Had the mismatch with Abu Arisha and was going to try to take the big fella off the dribble. It's got a little bit out of control.
There's Eric Bell. Started his career at Division III Manchester, senior from Evansville. Gets past Savage. And pull-up might have been tipped. Looked like it was, but saved by Williams anyway. Alert play by the redshirt junior because that was going to remain Kentucky Wesleyan's possession. Williams for the rare two-hand stop.
Hollingsworth really sold it coming off the ball screen with the shot fake and drew the defender, and Carson Williams wide open and a great finish.
That's 5 assists, only 1 turnover for Hollingsworth tonight. He had 6 and 2 turnovers against Arkansas 10 days ago. And he comes up with a rebound. That's his 4th. Williams has not missed from the floor. Inside, reverse, might have been dropping in, but it's offensive basket interference by Jared Savage. Would have been close. That ball was hanging right on the rim, could have gone either way.
Yeah, Carson Williams, when he gets it anywhere near the paint, he is not looking to kick it out. As you can see right there, really forcing the issue even against a double team. And sometimes he's able to finish that or draw the contact and get himself to the free throw line. Not on that possession, though.
Wesleyan has struggled to score a little bit this season. Right around 70 points a game. Savage swats Abu Arisha. Savage giving up a couple of inches, but able to go up for the block.
This is good individual one-on-one post defense right there, holding his ground, taking the contact in the chest, walling up and contest.
Williams called for a very late foul that will send Suhanov, the sophomore, rush into the foul line. Drew Cooper's Panthers down by a dozen, but considering that was their deficit before they even got to the scoreboard tonight, they were down 12-0 to begin the game. He can't fault his team's effort crawling back the last 20 minutes or so. Suhanov has not attempted a free throw yet this year. That's his first one as a Panther. Transfer from Morehead State, where he made 13 appearances last season at Division I level for the Eagles. So he's used to some high-quality opponents. Played against Lipscomb, Green Bay, Northern Kentucky, twice Belmont, Murray State, which of course last year featured John Morant, and number 14 Syracuse in the Carrier Dome. So he's been around at some Division I environments. Williams has hit a 3 already tonight. Justice tried to force it to Williams. It somehow got through 3 or 4 Panthers, and Williams is the first Hilltopper into double figures with 11.
I don't know how that ball got through the traffic. Those great hands by Carson Williams to come up with it in traffic and a good, strong finish.
That's 14 assists for Western Kentucky tonight on 18 made field goals. Mobley gets, plus the foul. Getz might not have the ups to stuff it like Jared Savage did in the opening 15 seconds of the game, but he draws contact from Anderson and has a chance at a three-point play.
There's no communication on the back screen there by the Hilltoppers. I think it was Williams' man who set the screen and did not help. Resulted in a layup.
Justice on the drive. Williams the follow. And now a couple of Hilltoppers on the floor. So numbers for the Panthers if they hurry. Gorgeous pass. And Abu Arisha will have a chance at a three-point play. Another foul from Anderson. And what an assist by the senior Eric Bell in transition.
Bell is really fast. He makes them go in transition. Has been bottled up very well tonight by Western Kentucky for the most part. But that time right there showing the burst a little bit and rewards this big fella for running the floor. You love to see that. And a great left-hand finish by Abu Arisha.
Jay, we had the perfect angle to see that Bell pass. He wouldn't exactly say he threaded the needle, but there are not many players, especially at the Division II level, who can throw a perfect pocket pass on a dead sprint in transition, and that has to be a good pass when you're throwing it to a big guy especially.
That was a great job on both ends. Good hands and body control on the finish, and very unselfish by Bell.
Now an 8-point game. Williams fouled in the post before the entry by Stu Curry, the junior from Owensboro. He's another senior. Stu Curry, 35 in purple. There he is on your screen for the Panthers, but not like the 10 other transfers. He's returning not only to his hometown of Owensboro, but to the sport of basketball. His first 2 years were at Louisville on the Cardinals' very highly regarded baseball team as a pitcher. He was a freshman on the team that went to Omaha in 2017, playing the College World Series. Justice fouled on the floor before the layup attempt. A couple of fouls in the opening 4 minutes of the half for Kentucky Wesleyan. The Panthers did a good job avoiding fouls the first part of the opening half, not so much the latter stages. Bell in transition again. Getz has a game-high 15, finds Bell against Savage. Good up and under, but he traveled to create some space. Drew Cooper is equally peeved to Bell's reaction. Neither of them like the call. Both of them will have to live with it. Western Kentucky's lead, though, is down to 8. Kentucky Wesleyan has come out fighting. Just more than 4 minutes gone by in the second half, and the Panthers have cut the lead by 5 points. Kentucky Wesleyan used the first 4 minutes of the second half to shave 5 points off Western Kentucky's lead of the visiting Panthers, trying to make some noise down the stretch against their Division I opponents. The Hilltoppers Student Athlete Spotlight today brought to you by Franklin Bank and Trust, hometown bank since 1958. WKU Lady Toppers basketball senior guard Whitney Creech started 27 games at point guard last year, dished out 117 assists against just 51 turnovers. The steady guard had either 0 or 1 turnover in 21 games and finished the season averaging better than a half dozen per night. Lady Toppers program has also had quite a bit of success in recent years. Good time to be a fan coming out to Diddle Arena, and in the volleyball team as well. Went to the NCAA tournament second round, lost only 2 games, won more than 30 this year. Fell to Louisville with a Sweet 16 berth on the line in 5 sets. Kind of a really big crowd here at Diddle Arena. Certainly the Bowling Green fans did themselves proud that weekend. Rawls with 7 to shoot. Williams underneath. Good position, and 2 through contact.
First zone defense of the night we see from Kentucky Wesleyan, and the Hilltoppers do a great job, very, very patient. Work the ball to the middle of the floor. When you get the ball to the high post area against the zone, usually good things happen, and a good high-low pass by Jordan Rawls, and another tough blue-collar finish inside for Carson Williams.
Rawls quick 3. Curry rebound. Getz, by the way, after that miss, has attempted 5 3-pointers. 3 of them have gone in. The other 2 have been air balls. There's been no in between.
Legs may be becoming a factor. You know, again, we mentioned they played a home game last night, right in the middle of their league season. Got 2 more league games after tonight before they go home for Christmas break. So
another home game coming up Thursday. Buarisha just short. Curry offensive rebound. Williams a block shot, and he snatches it away. That's 13 points, 9 rebounds for Carson Williams. Big night for him so far. Justice baseline for the easy deuce.
No help side defender there to stop the ball on the baseline. An easy lay-in for Cameron Justice.
Eric Bell, he's had good moments in the second half. Now Joe Griffin, one of a couple of Louisville transfers. 3 if you count Stu Curry, the former baseball player. Gets baseline. Buarisha has a mismatch against Hollingsworth, wants a clear out. Didn't make much of it. Bell with 5 to shoot. Couple his feet, and he's called for another travel. Wyatt Battle into the ball game for Griffin. Battle provides the potential of significant offense. Certainly filled it up in high school. Strong scorer in this state. Tyler Beazold also in, along with Zach Hopewell, who had some great offensive moments in the first half. Getz will take a seat along with Buarisha.
It's like the Panthers I thought they were going to stay in the zone. They go back to the man.
Williams, tough catch. Doubled. Hollingsworth, good screen from Justice. Savage offensive rebound. Rawls on the drive. Contested shot, and he scores. That was not bad defense by Hopewell, but Rawls just got the better of it.
Nope, not much else Hopewell could do right there. Rawls really, really great at getting in the paint. Shows the body control and the finish there. That's where he lives, is off his dribble penetration.
Battle to Curry against Williams, taken down to a knee and then switched his pivot foot and is called for the travel. He tried to put a move on Carson Williams and he ran into a brick wall.
He did. He was not, met a lot of resistance right there.
And Justice is fouled. He was on the way up. He'll get 2 free throws. Williams and Curry are only listed as 15 pounds different, but I think that might be just slightly exaggerated. So Justice is going to go to the line, a chance to extend the lead back to as many as 16 for Western Kentucky, which would match the Hilltoppers' largest advantage of the evening.
And Steve Curry looks like a pitcher. Carson Williams looks like he's a tight end.
Yeah, he has a thickness to him. Matt Horton comes in. Williams takes a seat. Justice only a 72% free throw shooter on the year. Not bad, but not quite the number you'd expect from an elite outside shooter. He splits the pair. 50. More of the college town feel, but seems to be agreeing with him so far. Better than 13 a game, and you'd think he stands a decent chance with no Charles Bassett the remainder of the way of leading the Hilltoppers in scoring.
Put up some great numbers at IUPUI last year, just under 19 a game. Really doesn't have an offensive weakness to his game. He can score from the outside. He's a strong penetrator, great handler, and can see the floor and create for others as well.
Tough finish by Battle. A 13-point lead again for the Hilltoppers. Savage never even touched it with his left hand, and he sets up Horton for a 3-point play opportunity. That was all in one motion, the assist for Savage.
Beautiful touch pass and a bullet right in Horton's chest. He really didn't have a choice but to catch it, but heads up play by Savage.
Some more free throws for the Hilltoppers, who hit their first 4 but have made just 1 of their last 4 since then. 5 out of 8 for the ball game. Horton made both of his earlier opportunities. That's 9 points for the senior Matt Horton, who had only 4 minutes in the Arkansas game. By the time Charles Bassey went down, the Hilltoppers were in crunch time and nobody on the deeper bench was getting into the floor, but Horton is proving himself worthy of at least some share of Bassey's minutes. He's defended well too.
I think this coaching staff's got to be very, very encouraged by what they've seen out of Horton tonight. Giving him good minutes on both ends of the floor.
Beazold off the fake. Left it short. Hollingsworth clears the glass with his 5th rebound. Rawls wide open 3. Largest lead of the night for Western Kentucky. It's 19.
Great setup by Hollingsworth, really pushing the ball hard in transition, getting in the paint, making the reverse pass to Rawls in transition.
13-2 run for the Toppers over the last 3.5 minutes. Battle, back iron, offensive rebound snagged by Hopewell. Hopewell against Gambrell. Fall away. Rebound Hollingsworth again. 6 rebounds and 6 assists for Hollingsworth. He wanted assist number 7, but it was batted away by Curry in front of Horton. Hopewell toward Battle, a steal by Rawls. Ragged end-to-end stop. Savage to Horton, too tall. Saved by Cartwright, but he stepped on the baseline, and Western Kentucky will have it after what I'm sure both coaches will feel is a much-needed media timeout. Rick Stansbury perhaps not thrilled with how the evening has gone, but his Hilltoppers still lead by 19. 10:57 remaining from Diddle Arena, and it's a comfortable showing for the home team. Western Kentucky up 19 with just under 11 minutes to go. Nate Cantor, Jay Walton back with you from Diddle Arena. That's Kenny Cooper there, the senior transfer from Lipscomb, who found out since the Arkansas game 10 days ago that the NCAA has officially denied his waiver to be eligible to play this year, so he will have to sit out this season and play his final year of eligibility next year. Averaged 4.5 assists, shot well from 3 last season for a good Lipscomb team that finished as the NIT runner-up. Rick Stansbury was candid in his press conference this week about it. He said he and Cooper are disappointed in the administration at Lipscomb. He said, quote, if the coach wouldn't have left, Kenny wouldn't have left. So the only person who ends up getting mistreated in all this is Kenny. And you have to see that point, Jay, with especially when it's brought about by a coach being allowed to leave and he doesn't have to sit out for a year. And meanwhile, Kenny Cooper says, you know what, I'd rather be able to go somewhere else rather than playing for a coach I didn't get to choose. And he ends up having to sit out a year, but the Hilltoppers will have to adjust.
Yeah, they were really hoping to have his services. He would allow Tavion Hollingsworth to play his more natural position, which is off the ball. Hollingsworth adjusted well and has played that role capably. But if Cooper was on the floor, he's more of a distributor. He gets in the paint. He could create for others, but you know, it's not going to be. So they've got to adjust to that, as well as losing Charles Bassey. So some of the things that they hope to have as far as a roster leading into the conference play won't be there for them. They'll have to figure it out.
Does seem like the last couple of games, though, particularly the Arkansas showing, justice call for a foul inside, that Hollingsworth has started to find his groove in a point guard type of role. 11 assists against only 3 turnovers the last 2 games combined.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with him on the season. He's not forced the issue, has not been, he's not gotten sped up, played too fast, and has shown, as he has throughout his whole career, the ability to score when that opportunity's there, but definitely look to get others involved.
Bezol thought about a 3. Abu Arisha, 9 to shoot against Horton. Hopewell, mid-range over Justice. Horton had a chance at it. Rawls ends up with it. Justice ahead for the reverse.
Several shots in a row for the Panthers, just a little bit short. You kind of get the sense that legs are becoming a factor. This tough stretch of games for them is starting to show.
Battle. Look toward Cartwright backdoor. Ends up with Bezol. Backdoor pass went toward Cartwright, who stopped his cut. Wesleyan said the ball was deflected on its way through. Drew Cooper looks adamant, but he's not going to get the call, and Western Kentucky takes it back, up by 21. There's Rawls, the only true point guard on the floor for Western Kentucky without Kenny Cooper in the picture. Horton drops it in. That's a 17-2 run for the Toppers over the last 6 minutes. And the largest lead again for them tonight at 23 points.
Showing a nice touch on the weekend finish, set up by another great ball screen. I tell you, Horton, he's a very good screener. He gets out there, gets set. He's a big wide screen and forces the help. And done a great job of rolling straight to the rim, making himself available for that pass.
Double dribble called against Griffin. Western Kentucky takes it back again. I think there's more pressure now on Jordan Rawls, considering that there's no chance Cooper's going to come back. Bassey has gone out. Hollingsworth's probably going to be asked to score a little bit more, whereas early on in the season they would have been pushing him into a facilitation role that somebody like Rawls could see a lot more minutes, and there's more pressure in general on these bench guys.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I don't know if pressure's the right word, but certainly opportunity. They'd love for him to, be a spark off the bench, show steadiness with the ball in his hands, get the ball to the right people at the right times, and really, really push in transition, which is what he's best at.
Abu Arisha goes past Savage, who has been vulnerable to an up fake or two tonight. And he will go to the foul line for a couple of opportunities. You'd have to say, though, from a Western Kentucky perspective, one of the big keys to this game is to get a second look at Abu Arisha fouled by Horton. Would have been the performance of those bench players. Rawls and Horton asked to play significantly more minutes. Gambrell getting a chance to see really any significant minutes for the first time. And all 3 of them have looked good. especially Gambrell and Horton, the two taking the biggest jump in minutes tonight.
For sure, and you know, early in the season, Josh Anderson really the only guy coming off the bench that provided offensive spark, and him in the starting lineup and bench scoring be key for the Hilltoppers as they move into conference play. The coaching staff looking to develop some depth and some reliable scoring coming off the bench, and these guys showing that tonight.
Horton wanted it in the post. Anderson doubled baseline. Backdoor toward Gambrell, but it never got to him. Stolen away by Getz.
Coach Rick Stansberry just saying, hey, no, don't need to force it, just make the easy play.
Abu-Arisha, step back three. Anderson takes the rebound after it just grazed the rim. But really, the Hilltoppers have only used 7 players this season before this game. This is the first time they've used a new starting lineup. They had used the same each of their first 10 games. Brick from Rawls, who was 7th on the team in minutes at 19 a game. 8th on the team is Horton, and he averaged only 6 a game over the first 10 games of the season. So for the first time, the Hilltoppers will have to go past that 7th man. Backdoor, gorgeous cut by Griffin for the dunk.
Well set up play and caught Justice sleeping on the back door.
Horton has a mismatch underneath. Instead, it's Anderson all the way to the rim.
He's really, really good going to his right. He's such a great finisher.
Everybody who's seen the floor for Western Kentucky has scored. Josh Anderson has 4 points now, fewest with the exception of Tavion Hollingsworth. Abu-Arisha had the second chance, knocked away from him with no whistle. Anderson had it stripped by Abu-Arisha, who goes to the floor. Gambrell feeds Justice. Baseline. Skip pass. Gambrell for 3.
Ball moving by the Hilltoppers there. No help on the baseline. And Justice able to kick it to the corner, and great vision by Rawls there with a cross-court pass. Very unselfish. Gambrell, as we've mentioned before, has the quick trigger. That one's going up every time.
That's 11 points, career high for the redshirt freshman from Houston on only 6 field goals. He's hit 3 of 5 from deep. Western Kentucky's lead has ballooned now to 25. Another new biggest lead of the night for the Hilltoppers. 6. Cameron Justice set up that last 3-pointer for Jeremiah Gambrell to stretch it to a 25-point Western Kentucky lead. Jay, what did you like of this play?
Well, he starts with a Justice drive on a bad closeout, makes the pass to the corner, and then Jordan Rawls with a beautiful skip pass cross court to Gambrell. And Jeremiah saying, Coach, all I needed was a few minutes, man. This is what I can do for you. He's really, really stood out tonight, hit some open shots, and provided that spark off the bench that they've been looking for. And if he keeps shooting the ball like that, you're going to see a lot more playing time.
That's fifth-year senior Justice to true freshman Rawls to redshirt freshman Gambrell. And Rawls, who's sort of the forgotten man in the middle of all that, we had criticized him, or at least pointed out maybe a minute or two ago that he forced that pass. Rick Stansbury certainly criticized him for forcing it to Gambrell on the baseline. But even if maybe he's overeager to make some of those passes, you could see the vision he has, even as a true freshman, that he knew where he was going with that ball before he ever touched it.
He did, and he's very aggressive. So he's going to make some mistakes. When you're trying to make plays like that, you're going to have a turnover every now and then, and you can live with that as long as he's playing hard on the other end of the floor, making it tough for his man to score.
Hopewell for 3, way off, and like you said, the bad misses are evident of the wear and tear on the legs the last couple of nights for the Panthers. Hopewell ends up with the finish. The shot clock never reset, but he just got it off in time. Williams still the leading scorer tonight for the Hilltoppers. Gambrell wants another one. And that was halfway down. Isaiah Cozart, big 50 in white in the middle, is in for the first time for the Hilltoppers tonight. True freshman post from Richmond, Kentucky. Beazold steps out. Rebound Anderson.
Everything short, not only the schedule, but this defensive pressure that they faced for most of the 35 minutes so far tonight from Western Kentucky, really taking its toll on the Panthers. Just not able to get the ball to the rim these last few possessions.
Williams off on a 3. Rare miss for him. Getz' 3 is good, and he has been excellent. That's 18 points for Getz, who, remember, started his career as a collegiate player with a couple of years at Division III. Not only has he proven the last 2 years with 16 and now 15 points a game for Wesleyan that he can play at a high level at Division II, he's proven tonight that he's probably good enough to be on a Division I roster somewhere.
It just goes to show there's great players all over the country at every level. And this young man, like you mentioned, he can play a lot of different places, and been the best player on the floor for Kentucky Wesleyan tonight and throughout the season, really, so far.
Gambrell offensive rebound after the Williams miss. Final 4 minutes of an exhibition victory for the Hilltoppers that will not count in either team's record or official statistics, but certainly will count in Rick Stansbury and the coaching staff. Anderson called for a walk before a big finish. But certainly will count for Rick Stansbury and the coaching staff trying to sort out exactly what this Western Kentucky team is going to be over the final 20-25 games of this season without the anchor in the middle, the sophomore Nigerian Charles Bassey. It's a 20-point Western Kentucky. 68-48 is the Western Kentucky lead. Kentucky Wesleyan, to be fair, has battled pretty much the entire night and cut the deficit to 8 early on in the second half, but plenty of reasons for celebration for Hilltoppers fans who were treated to that big win over Arkansas 10 days ago in this building, and now getting a chance to see their team, even without Charles Bassey, look like it's going to be a contender in the Conference USA the remainder of the way, and that certainly was always the goal. But still a couple of non-conference tests for Western Kentucky against Rhode Island on the road Saturday afternoon, and then back home the following Saturday after Christmas to face Belmont. A couple of very, very good teams, about as good as you're going to get in college basketball outside of the Power 5.
Yeah, Rhode Island always a tough place to play, and Belmont has been a tough matchup for West Kentucky. Kind of had their number over the last few years, and always a tough team to play.
So we are going to be headed right back to a break, only 11 seconds of basketball later, because we had to wait a while on the under 8 timeout. So this is the under 4 timeout, and this now we promise the final media timeout of the Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, where it's a 20-point Western Kentucky lead after a couple of breaks with only 11 seconds of basketball in between. Plenty of time for dancing at the arena. And the final home game before Christmas for the Hilltoppers. They will have the road game next Saturday, 1 o'clock on ESPN Plus at Rhode Island. And then at 6:30 the following Saturday after Christmas, back at home on Stadium against the Belmont Bruins from the OVC. Yet another Ohio Valley Conference opponent for Western Kentucky. Plenty of those on the Hilltoppers non-conference schedule, which has been a daunting one this year. Western Kentucky had the 19th most difficult non-conference schedule in the country last season. Similarly difficult slate this year. Battle for 3.
One basket, one foul.
Gambrell is bumped and fouled. For all the quality, Jay, that there is at the Conference USA level and similarly around the group of 5 conferences, there are probably very, very few teams that have the depth to lose, without a doubt, their best player, thought to be the best player in the conference and one of the best in the country, and still look like a team that's going to win 20 ball games again and have a chance to compete for a conference championship and a trip to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, obviously the expectations were high and always will be for West Kentucky. You know, their expectation here is a conference championship, chance to play in the NCAA tournament, even win a game or two in the NCAA tournament. And so those expectations will not change. Our coaching staff's made that clear that, you know, even with losing Charles Bassey, we still have that as a goal. We're just going to have to figure out a different way to do it. And so they've learned a little bit tonight. They've got some production off the bench from some guys that hadn't got a lot of opportunities so far this season. It'll be a big factor if they're able to achieve those goals.
Anderson, 6 to shoot. Backdoor Cozart, rebounded by Battle. He wants another 3. Cozart clears it. Rolls off the mark. Cozart follows through contact. Didn't get a whistle or a bucket. Hopewell the other way. No look Bell. All the way in for two. Had a timeout called by Drew Cooper. With his Panthers now within 15, just over 2 minutes to go. Western Kentucky eclipsed the 20-win mark a year ago. Looks like the Hilltoppers will have a good chance, even without Bassey, to do that again this year. It was their 45th 20-win season last year. In NCAA history, only Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke, Louisville, UCLA, and Kansas have more 20-win seasons than Western Kentucky. I don't know if many people would give, particularly this basketball program, but this athletics department, enough credit for the victories that they've amassed, the success that they've had over their entire history. And numbers like that or facts like that really drive it home.
They love their basketball here. It's a great environment. I mean, Diddle Arena, one of the toughest home court advantages that there are in the country on any level. And I like the fact that the crowd came out tonight, just kind of show this team, hey, we're still with you. You know, we're with you all the way and supporting you. Even though things might look a little different on the court, we're going to figure it out. We're going to find a way to still be competitive and let you know that we're right there with you.
Yeah, because you'd have to think that as good as this team still is, as much talent as the Hilltoppers still have, there had to be flickers of doubt, not only, of course, for the fans, but for the coaches even, and probably for the players. As excited as some of them are probably for the opportunity now that's in front of them, they're losing who they all know is their most important player, the player who's collected the most accolades. None of that is a secret. None of that is something that any of them have to hide from. And you'd have to think there are some moments of doubt, and so it has to feel good for them to get a good game like this out of their belts. But on top of that, to have the crowd come out and support the way they did. We saw when Charles Bassey came out of the floor with his crutches that he got a standing ovation from a bunch of the crowd that was here a few minutes before tip-off. And you commend Hilltoppers fans certainly for that, because the team needs them now more than they ever have.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Jackson Harlan, freshman from Albany, Kentucky, is in. He takes over for Carson Williams, who, barring a late Gambrell bucket, will lead the team in scoring tonight. 13 points and 9 rebounds for Williams. Most of that accumulated in the first half. Both teams have cleared out the benches for the final minute and a half. Backdoor Cartwright, left it for Battle. Jumper off the mark.
Usually don't see the kick out on the alley-oop pass.
I thought maybe there was a layup there for Cartwright. Anderson follows, tips once, tips twice. And a foul called away from the basketball against Gambrell, who's trying to get position for that eventual steal. See more substitutions. Patrick Murphy, redshirt junior from Franklin, Tennessee, in for the first time for the Hilltoppers. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, it's the reintroduction of the 7'2" Englishman Nathan Smith, who had a very, very brief cameo late in the first half. He started his career here with the Hilltoppers when Ray Harper was still coaching. Final season of Hint's tenure before Rick Stansbury took over. Cartwright misses, Murphy rebounds.
Murphy will get a chance to see his brother here soon, brother Grayson, starting point guard for Belmont. They'll get together for Christmas break and talk about the matchup and get together soon after here in Bowling Green.
Finished in traffic by Cozart. Yeah, Murphy has stern instructions from Stansbury over family Christmas to try to see if he can steal any Belmont State secrets. Helped him a little bit in those last couple practices prepping. Smith blocked by Cozart. Gambrell rolls. Final shot for the Hilltoppers, and he drains it. So Western Kentucky finishes on a high note. Jordan Rawls flashes in a three, his first of the night. And it's a 22-point lead once again for Western Kentucky inside 25 seconds. And it looks like the Panthers are going to dribble this one out. Maybe not. Looks like we might get one final shot. Drew Cooper seemed to change his mind. The ball ends up with Mike Gilmer, senior from Owensboro. He gets the last shot, and it's an air ball rebounded by Murphy. The ball game is over. So, Jay, some final takeaways from a game that won't count for anything but what's most important to Rick Stansbury, which is what does his team look like the rest of the season?
Yeah, they really needed tonight just to figure a few things out and guys moving into different roles. And like we mentioned, bench scoring is going to be a key for this team. We got some good young players involved, especially Jeremiah Gambrell. Good to see some shots go down for that young man. Good to see Matt Horton provide some quality minutes on both ends of the floor. And just what they needed with that long layoff heading into this Rhode Island road game.
Plenty of credit should go to the Panthers, who did not go quietly into that good night by any stretch. They cut it to 8 points inside the final 16 minutes. Similar game to what they had last night against Cedarville when they were down most of the way by as many as 14 in the second half. They came all the way back to get themselves within one possession, a 3-point game in the final 4 minutes, but couldn't pull it off. They still have another game Thursday night, their third in 4 games, when they return to GMAC play. Western Kentucky will be back at it Saturday, 1 o'clock on ESPN Plus at Rhode Island. The following Saturday back home after Christmas to take on Belmont, a 6:30 tip, and that will air on Stadium. So for Jay Walton, Nate Gatter saying so long from here at Diddle Arena, where our final score once again is Western Kentucky 75 and Kentucky Wesleyan 53. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.